Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you are having a plumping, wonderful evening. Hey, let me turn down the volume of my monitor screen, okay? Just making sure you're having a wonderful evening so far. And you know what, guys? Hey, if you're just joining me, you're welcome. And before anything, I have to crush this crush. I don't know if anybody loves this product like I do. It's called Crush. And I don't want anybody to try to advise me about the health benefits. You shouldn't drink pop and stuff like that. Forget it. I love it. I drink about half a can every day, right? That's my own indulgence. I love it. So, but anyways, if you're just joining me for the first time, you're welcome. My name is Gustav B. Achua. I'm a wealth strategist. I'm a legacy architect. I help first, second generation immigrants who have done everything by the book, work extremely hard, and try to build wealth and build significance, but still feel behind on their books, on their purpose, on their money, and on the legacy they want to leave for their families. I teach them very simple, repeatable, easy, stress-free strategies on how they can invest in assets, duplicate their money, and build something significant for their lives now and for the life they intend to bequeath to the families that are coming after them. But you know what? Tonight live stream is a special one. You know why? Because I'll be talking not about money directly, but I'll be talking first of all about the person you have to become to be the person that attracts money. I'll be talking about the mindset, the spirit, the emotions, and you know what? The entire being that you have to transform yourself to become, to be the person that can attract the kind of wealth, the kind of impact, and the kind of legacy that you hope to build in your life. You know what? It is my man, Jim Rohn, who said something that it doesn't matter what work you do with your life. It doesn't matter the job you are doing. The question you must always ask yourself is not what am I getting from this job? It must always be what am I becoming from this job? I hope somebody is listening to me tonight because we are going to be on fire. If you're just dropping, I want you to drop where you're watching from, what part of the world you're watching me from, right? I usually like to know that. You know why? Because it permits me to give you a shout out. It permits me to know what part of the world you're from, and it gives me a chance to know that my messages are going far and wide. Jim Rohn said something, and I want you to remember this quote. Whatever job you're doing, whatever work you're doing with your life, don't always ask yourself, what am I getting from this job? Always ask yourself, what am I becoming? Because becoming is more important than getting. Getting is temporary, becoming is long term. Becoming is what permits you to have the ability to expand your capacity to get. As you know, we are all equal in God's eyes, but we are not equal on the marketplace because the marketplace doesn't pay for emotions. The marketplace doesn't pay you for your looks. The marketplace doesn't pay you for how you value yourself. The marketplace only pays you for the value you bring to other people. I hope that helps somebody. So, guys, tonight we are going to be hitting really, 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 really hard. And I want us to talk about something that is critical, especially in this time, because a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling under the weight of job loss. A lot of people are struggling under the weight of children getting into their teenage years and they are feeling like they no longer have control over their children and they are becoming something that they don't recognize. A lot of people are struggling with even their relationships, maybe at the brink of separation, at the brink of divorce. Listen here, let me tell you something. I want to reassure you that that wind shall pass too. Right? And I'm not saying that to be nice. I'm saying that because I know for a fact that in this life you are living, whether you like it or not, there are some three critical seasons of your destiny. We all have things that are already assigned to our lives. We have our destinies. We already have our mission assigned to us by the Lord Almighty. The question usually is, are you willing to take some time and understand what that gift, what that mission is? And are you willing to pay the price to pursue that mission and deliver on that mission? 99% of people don't have the stamina, don't have the willingness, don't have the fortitude, and don't even have the patience to discover first the understanding of what that is. And the reason why I want to talk about the three seasons of your destiny is because there are a lot of things happening today. And I hope that the things that are happening don't derail you from believing that that is all that life has to offer to you. I don't know what season you are in, but when you stay with me on this live stream, you will recognize the season you are in, and you will recognize that whatever season you are in is still a season that can lead you either to your destiny or it can lead you to your demise. But the choice is usually in your hand, because it is Les Brown who said something powerful. Les Brown said, in life, you're either in a problem, you are heading out of a problem, or you are heading towards one. Right? You're either in a problem, you're either in a problem, you are heading out of a problem, or you are heading towards one, right? So understand me here. Most people are frustrated because they are judging themselves in the wrong season. They want to harvest while still in the preparation season. They want to influence while avoiding the testing and the formation that brings you the ability to be capable of influencing others. They want to emerge without endurance. They want to appear without the process of putting themselves into the level of appearance. So tonight, I want to talk about the 3 seasons that is going to shape your life spiritually, financially, psychologically, emotionally. And if you misread your season, you might mismanage your destiny. I want you to understand me here. I know I do a lot of live streams and which are very powerful, but this is really close to my heart, because this live stream tonight is a combination of not only what I teach about personal finance, but it's a combination of purpose and it's a combination of legacy, all put together, which is my core. I don't teach you only how to duplicate your money and make money, but I have to teach you to how to become that person that can handle the pressures that come with growth in your destiny. Because every time you grow, they say new levels, new devils. That's why when you were doing something mundane at work, which the responsibility was not high, the pressure wasn't high. Immediately you get better pay, you get better responsibility, the pressure comes again. Immediately you get higher into the corporate level, maybe you start becoming a director or something, or you maybe even create your own business. You start realizing that there are more devils coming. There are more people envious of you. There are more people jealous. And then there is more that is expected of you. So if you are not prepared mentally, you are not prepared emotionally, you are not prepared psychologically for that season, you might actually derail your destiny, not by the happenstance of life, but by the fact that you got into a season without going through the preparatory season. So I want to talk here about season 1 of your life. And season 1 is the season of preparation. This is the season of discovery, because it is in this season that you start discovering, number 1, you start discovering God for yourself. And I want to tell you something very categorically, guys. I am not a pastor. I'm not a spiritual leader or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy who recognizes the fact that I am existing by the grace of God Almighty. I recognize the fact that there's an Almighty who is in charge of my life and who is in charge of my destiny and who gives me grace, right? So the first season of life is that season of discovery. You're not discovering religion, no. I'm talking about discovering God for yourself, discovering a way to communicate with that higher power that is responsible for the graces that you get, right? That first season of discovery involves discovering alignment, understanding what is it that who you are, right? That season where you start discovering when your values are formed. The convictions that you grow with in your life is formed in that season, right? That is the season where you start discovering even your own identity. Now you have to understand, if you don't settle your internal compass, money will magnify confusion for you. That is why I don't teach only money. Because what money does, it doesn't change you, it just magnifies who you are. Success exposes who you truly are. That is why a lot of times people are humble when they're broke, and when they have money, somehow people realize they're arrogant, they are this, they are that. I have seen both worlds. I have seen and I've operated with people who are extremely rich, but they are so humble you will never know. I have operated with people who are extremely rich, but they are arrogant because somehow the money just replayed and magnified what they truly were. So you must understand, this first season of preparation is the season where, you know what? you start forming your character. This is when you start establishing and understanding exactly what are the things that you are capable of and what are the things that you're not capable of. What are the things that you are truly designed to deliver in this life, and what are the things that you don't want to spend your time, effort, energy, and your precious emotions fighting over. Because let me tell you something, guys. A lot of people make this mistake. You don't want to spend a majority of your energy trying to be good at what you are bad at. You want to spend the most of your energy, time, and effort trying to be great at what you're already good at. What that means is very simple, right? There are a lot of other things I love. I love music, for example, right? And I've decided to start taking bass guitar classes. I love the bass guitar. Whenever I listen to music, that is what I really love to enjoy. And I want to be able to learn how to play the bass guitar, right? I know that I'm not naturally good at that. I will give it some time to learn how to play, but my goal is not to become a Richard Bona expert on the bass guitar, because I am trying to be good at best at what I'm bad at. But you know what? I am instead spending a majority of my effort in fine-tuning my communication skill, in fine-tuning my ability to be persuasive, in fine-tuning my ability to convey complex concepts like what I'll be conveying to you today in very simple terms that even my grandmother, even my sixth grader can understand. Because that is permitting me to become great at what I'm already good at. I hope you understand me here. So in the season of preparation, you start segregating that yourself. You start understanding what is your A talent and what is your B skill and what is your C talent. You start segregating what is it that is your mission in this life. Because you know what? If your character is not formed in the season of preparation, wealth or success will destroy you in the season of emergence. I hope somebody is listening to me. If your character is not formed and strengthened in the season of preparation, wealth will destroy you in the season of emergence. You know why? Because the second important thing after discovery, right? The second important thing after discovery of God, which is the first season of your life, the second important discovery is discovery of yourself. Who are you? What are you wired for? What frustrates you? What problems angers you enough to want to solve it? People ask me all the time, Mr. Achu, how do you uncover your purpose? You know what? One of the ways you uncover your purpose is identifying the problems that piss you enough and you want to solve it. I have my brother watching me online tonight, Betran Maimo, and I want you guys to go look him up on Facebook, on Instagram, and follow this young man. I will tell you something. I know them when I see them. When I see people who have identified what is it that is their work in this life and are going after it, I know them. This young man has identified his work. This guy is a business coach like no other business coach I've seen. I see the light coming. He has wisdom, the way he thinks. This is what I'm talking about, discovery of yourself in the first season of your life. You want to find that problem that pisses you off and you want to solve it. To me, the problem that pissed me off from the day I got into America 25 years ago is one problem. The fact that, number one, a lot of us immigrants come from countries where, number one, this is not me. This is what the Education Department of America says as statistics. Most African immigrants come into America, 40% of them have at least a GED. Another 24% have college degrees or college education. Another, I think about 17 or 15 to 17% have advanced degrees. We are good-looking people. We work very hard. We are organized. Why aren't we great? It pissed me off. And I told myself, I got to work on the thing that God has assigned as my own gift and be great at that gift so that I can use that to make others great. I don't know if somebody is understanding me tonight, right? So the second part of discovery, which is the first season, is discovering that thing that you want to solve. Most people skip this stage. And that is why they end up copying other people's careers. They end up copying other people's style of life. They end up copying everything else that other people do other than what they feel they are convinced in their heart to do. Because it is like a boat. I just came to a family vacation on a yacht. And one of the things I realized, I was just thinking to myself while we were going around that big mammoth ship. It carried about 4,000, 5,000 people. If anybody has been on that ship, it is called Carnival Cruise Breeze. The Breeze carries about 4,000 people, another 1,500 staff. So a total of about 6,000 people, right? And while we're sailing through the ocean, the coast of Mexico and all of that, I was thinking to myself, how did the explorers in those days, when they didn't have these modernized vessels, how were they able to sail around the world? They were using the sail, which we know is the cloth that hangs on the stick, right? And usually, if they don't set their sail right, the boat will go in the direction of the wind. That is how it is for most people. They don't set their sail. And when you don't set your sail right, what happens? The wind is going to push you in different directions. I have a close brother of mine, Dr. Edimo Harik, and I think he's online tonight. Dr. Edimo, welcome. We're glad to have you, man. Right? One of the things he talks about a lot in his programs is about purpose. Because he realized that when you find a way to identify your purpose, a lot changes not only about your life, but about your finances, right? So once you identify, you discover that who you are, what is it that you want with your life? You stop copying other people's lives. You focus on the thing that you want because you start realizing what your gifts are. You start realizing what your strengths are. You start realizing what that thing is that you can deliver on at a level of excellence that nobody else can take it away from you. One of the things that happens to us as immigrants when we come to this country or to Canada or to other countries in the world is that we don't even have the mindset. We don't even understand that it's important for us to also dedicate time to discover who we are. You know why? Because we go straight into survival. We go straight into finding a way to survive. And let me make this real for a moment. I am no different. When I came to America 25 years ago, it's the same thing, right? When I came in, life was not about purpose for me at that time. It was about survival. Shortly after arriving, of course, I lost my mother 6 months after coming into America. Had to go back and lay her to rest. So you can imagine how confusing it is for a 23-year-old who is coming. I had all these big dreams, but of course, I was confused, right? So while people talk about finding yourself, I didn't even have the luxury to ask that question. I was just trying to stay afloat. I was just trying to find a way to earn some money to start living a life that I perceived that was the life. But you know what? Let me tell you one of the scripture words that really hit me so hard back then, and it continues to speak to me today. And again, anything I share with you, I'm not holier than thou. I am not some special guy. No, I'm just a human being that is hoping that my messages, that my knowledge, that my experiences, that my skill can transform you to become the best version of yourself. There is this verse, Jeremiah 1:5. This is what it says, and I know most of you know it. It says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Hey. Oh my God. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. I knew who you are. I knew what you are capable of. I knew what you can possibly do with your life. The question is, do you believe in what God believes in you? So your assignment was not created by society. Your assignment was established even before you arrived. So the third element of season 1, discovery of God, discovery of yourself. The third element of season 1 is discovery of your assignment, discovery of your mission, discovery of what you are born to deliver. And I don't want anybody to get me wrong here. I understand the necessity to work. I understand the necessity to do some things that maybe is out of the realm of what we were born to do. But you must always remember, no matter the work you do, no matter the job you do, always keep your work next to your job. Because if you don't understand, let me tell you something. There is a difference between your job and your work. Your job is what you are paid to do. Your work is what you are born to do. You can be fired from your job. You can never be fired from your work. Your work is what you earn a living. Your job is what you build a legacy. You need to understand that, guys. Your work is what you don't need extraordinary conviction to deliver on, because it comes to you as a mission, which is a lifetime. So you must understand something. Discovering your assignment is a critical piece of that first season of your life. Assignment is where purpose meets service. Assignment is where you understand what you have to deliver and you are able to make that delivery impact somebody else. That is when skills meet a need. What are the skills you have? You might have excellent skills in accounting. You might have excellent skills in IT. You might have excellent skills in communication like I do. Now I have to bring that skill to meet a need. What is the need? The need is for immigrant people to understand that they are enough. The need is for immigrant people to understand how to build wealth by leveraging assets, by positioning their income and using it as seed, as not as a fruit to eat when they earn. The need is for people to believe in themselves, to understand that there is something they can deliver on, that nobody else can compete with them. So now I have the skill, I have that work, which is my assignment. Now there is the need. And so I bring my work and I use a platform like what I'm using now to transfer that work to meet your need. And that's why you're listening to me right now. Discovery of your assignment. That is when conviction meets opportunity. That is when you don't choose your assignment casually. You choose your assignment in alignment with what you deeply believe inside your spirit. That is that assignment. You don't choose your assignment on a flimsy basis. It is one of the most important decisions you will make with your life. Because when you choose that assignment, you uncover it gradually. It's never a speed process. You don't uncover it with this in a speedy moment. It takes time to slowly uncover. But you realize that once you identify the realm of that assignment and you start walking in that direction, it starts clarifying itself as you go forward. Not only identifying, but embracing that assignment and bringing it in a way that the marketplace will receive it. It's like walking in a dark and cloudy road. Have you ever tried driving on a cloudy day? Maybe you're going through a hilly area or something. You realize that the fog is too thick, and you can only see 1 foot in front of you. And until you cover that 1 foot, you will not see the next foot. Until you cover that next foot, you will not see the next. That is how it is. You cannot see the entire picture from the beginning. You will never see the entire picture. You have to see a glimpse and have a deep conviction in you of what that assignment is. And then you start walking on that path. As you start walking, then it starts becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. And then at some point, you realize it will happen to you like they took a black piece of cloth out of your face. You are like, whoa, this is it. So this is what I am called to do, right? So you must understand that discovery of your assignment is also part of when preparation becomes quiet. There is no applause in that process. There are no followers. There is no recognition. There is just formation. The egg, it's like the chicken in the egg. It is going through that gestational period. It is forming itself slowly. And during that gestational period, the hen is sitting on that egg. Everybody doesn't understand why that hen is protecting the egg. The egg is going gestational slowly. The chicken is forming slowly. And at a certain point, it will break through. Right? So you might be in this first season where there is no applause, because this is the season of discovery. This is the season where it is cold. The messages you'll be passing. Maybe you have your YouTube channel, you have your Instagram page, you have your LinkedIn page, you have your Facebook page. People are not following you. People are not subscribing to your pages. It is okay. That is the season of discovery. That is the season of formation. My YouTube channel, I've had a YouTube channel for 14 years today. I started becoming serious on social media 2.5 years ago. In 2.5 years, I've been able to accumulate 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. You know what? But I have posted 450 videos. Madam, sir, it's easy for me to give up on that. You know why? because I can feel like I'm not getting applause. I've seen people who've posted 40 videos and they have 10, 15, 50,000 subscribers. You know what? That is their season. It's not my season. I'm in my season. I'm in the season. And in that season, maybe you're not going to get the applause you want. Maybe you're not going to get recognition. Maybe people are not going to show you that they appreciate what you are doing. Keep doing it, because that is the season of discovery. That's the season where you are exposing yourself to clarify what is it that you want to deliver on, that you're called upon to deliver on. Let's talk about the second season. Feels good. The second season of your destiny. That is the season of testing. That is the hidden university. I have a good friend of mine, a young brother of mine out in Maryland. He's called MC Darcy. He has a podcast called The Everyday University, right? Season 2 of your destiny, the season of testing. This is the season where you know where you are going. But you know what? You are clear about where you are trying to go. You are certain that this is the path you have to follow. But you know what? You don't have the capacity to carry and go in that direction. That is the power of the season 2, which is the hidden university. You know where you're trying to go, but you don't have the power to go in that direction. You don't have the ability to carry the burden that it takes to go in that direction because you haven't been strengthened to carry that kind of load. Season 2, the hidden university. And you know what is even more interesting about that season? That is the season where a lot of breaking happens in your life. That is the season where you're going to be humbled. That is the season where God shatters your ego because you've identified where you're trying to go. All of a sudden, you believe that you deserve to be in that direction. You deserve to be there. You are already the man. You are the lady. You already know what you are doing. So you have to be there at the top. Season 2, that is the season of testing. That is the season of trial. For people who are in IT, you know, before you bring a product to the market, there's multiple tests, right? That is the season where you will be put to the test. That is the season where your ego will be broken. That is the season where your pride will be confronted. That is the season where your skill gets sharpened. That is the season where your endurance is built. That is the testing season. That is the season where it feels like delay has come upon your life. That is the season where actual development starts happening. You cannot skip that season. That is a season where sometimes you will feel like your life has stopped. There is no progress happening. It looks like you are instead going back. That is the season. That is season 2. Because you remember, even in finance, which I teach you about investing, right? There are some fundamentals. When you skip those fundamentals, you lose money. When you listen to hype and you buy stocks that are hype stocks, you will lose money. When you invest in companies that you don't know, you don't trust, you don't understand what they do, you will lose money. In business, it is the same thing. If you scale without structure in business, you are going to collapse. Because as you are growing, you need a structure to handle that growth. It is like a building. Sometimes when the foundation is not solid, for example, you build a foundation to handle 4 stories and you go ahead and build 8 stories. What do you think is going to happen to that building? It's going to collapse. So if your foundation is built to be mediocre, but you want to be great without preparing that foundation, it is not going to work because you are trying to scale without the requisite strength of the foundation to handle the weight of that new you. So you must understand, in life, if you bypass humility, you will self-destruct. Destiny is sequential. You must understand, guys. Destiny is sequential. It doesn't seem sequential to you because in that confusion and the heat of the life, you don't realize how things are connected. But when you get there, you look back, you realize that everything has worked in an organized fashion. It might not seem organized when it was happening, but in hindsight, it always has a pattern to it. Destiny always has a pattern. Destiny has a way of rerouting you back to where you're supposed to be. I've done multiple things with my life, and everything I've done with my life, my destiny has always found a way to bring me back to what I'm doing now. consciously or unconsciously. I've been fired from jobs at times where I didn't expect that to happen. It was frustrating, but I was able, because I was in that second season of my life when I understood the power of testing. I was able to look at those circumstances not from the perspective of destruction, but from the perspective of preparation and future acceleration. So I was able to say, you know what, these things are happening to me. It's not. I'm not cursed. I'm not. This is not a curse that somebody put on my life. No, this is probably my destiny, just finding a way to reroute me and to prepare me and to test me whether I'm able to handle what is going to come in the season of emergence. Season 2, the season of testing. The season where your ego will be broken, the season where your pride will be broken. Because if you try to jump levels, life will humble you publicly. I have experienced that. You try to jump levels, life will humble you, and it will humble you in public. Because you have to obey, you have to submit to discipline. You will submit to process. You submit to the ability to study, to learn, and to not be. You will submit to humility. You will submit to recognize that even when you know, you don't have to boast. You don't have to show that you know. You will let your actions, you will let your knowledge, you will let the words that you speak show that you know. I remember a few months ago, I have a media company which I own. I partner with a gentleman. We both are co-owners of that company. And at one point, he told me, Mr. Acho, we're doing so much work. Look at the volume of content we're putting out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You know what? Let's do what a lot of other creators do. Let's go and buy views. We can pay Google Ads, and Google will take our videos everywhere. And before you know it, we're going to have 100,000 subscribers. We're going to have 10,000, 20,000 followers on Instagram. We're going to have 100,000 on Facebook. For a moment, it sounded attractive, but I said usually I don't make decisions in a few minutes. I usually take at least 48 hours before I make decisions, generally, unless it's small decisions. Otherwise, I usually always like to sleep over it. So I went and I reflected over it. I said, no, Gustav, what are you looking for? Are you looking for people, or are you looking for people who are looking for you? I want somebody to understand what I'm saying here. What you are doing with your life, whatever business you are in, what you are trying to do with your gift, with your destiny, are you just looking for people, or you are looking for the people who are looking for your gift? Are you looking for the people who are looking to be saved by your assignment? I see my brother, Uncle Beno out of Austin. Thank you for hopping on. I'm glad to have you on the line tonight. Uncle Beno, you guys should check him out too. He's a wonderful, wonderful creator. He talks on some of the most important things about family, about relationships. He's a relationship coach. He's a business coach too. Check him, Uncle Beno, on YouTube. His name is Uncle Beno. Check him out. Guys, so when I thought about it, I came back the next day. I told the guy, we are never going to do that. Don't ever do that. Yes, he went behind my back, stubbornly did it for about 4 months. When I caught it, I was very hard on him. I almost fired him. But what I mean is simple, right? There are people out there who are waiting for your gift, for your assignment to liberate them from their suffering and their bondage. The question is whether you have the patience, you have the willingness to go through the season of testing, and finally the season of emergence, when those people will start recognizing you, being attracted to you, being sent to you, being recommended to you. That is why I don't worry that I've put up close to 500 videos on YouTube. I only have 2,000 subscribers. I am not worried, because I know that the season of emergence will come. And when that season will come, it will not be that I am saying things that I've never said before. I will still keep saying the same things, but at that time, those things will be landing on the people that need to hear those things. It's like you are planting corn amongst rocks. It's never going to grow. You have to plant it. When the corn lands on fertile soil, then it blossoms. So you must understand, in this period of testing, you will submit to discipline. You must submit to process. You must submit to studying, fine-tuning that gift, and becoming excellent at it. You must submit to structure. You must be organized. If you're not organized, you are going to break. You must submit to long-term thinking. You're not thinking of short-term. You're thinking of the future. You're thinking of 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30, 40, 50. There is a story that always amazes me every time I read that story. Remember the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, the young man who is now in charge of Saudi Arabia. I remember when the king declared him the crown prince. You know, one of the first thing that guy did, and I want everybody to listen to me here. The first thing he did when his father declared him the crown prince, he convened a meeting. And in that meeting, he invited some of the best brains, not only within Saudi Arabia, but from across the world that are consultants to the Islamic nation of Saudi Arabia. He put them in a conclave and he told them one thing. He said, before you come out of this conclave, I need you to come out with a 100-year plan for Saudi Arabia. He said, I want you guys to come out with a 100-year plan. People see Saudi Arabia going to host World Cup 2030. They don't understand. They think it happened overnight. That is part of the 100-year plan. People see a lot of modernization happen in that country. They are switching away from being known only as an oil-rich country into other things, tourism, into IT, into pharmacology, pharmaceutical production, into manufacturing. People don't understand. This is what I'm talking about. Long-term thinking. One of the challenges we have as a people, as immigrants, especially coming into countries where there is possibility for growth, is that we still have the wiring of short-term thinking. We still have the wiring of scarcity. We believe that it's better for me alone to bake a small cake than to join hands with Uncle Benno, with other people. We bake a bigger cake because a small slice of a mighty cake is bigger than a whole small cake. Guys, for your information, Elon Musk, you hear about Elon Musk, he's the richest man in the world. By the time in the next 10 years, he will probably be worth more than 10 years is too long. He's already worth about 800 billion. Now he'll be worth more than 10 trillion. I don't know. That guy only owns 19% of Tesla, for your information. I don't know if I'm making sense here. He owns only 19% of Tesla. The former chairman of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos at his highest, when he was the richest man in the world for many years, he only owned 11% of Amazon. So you must understand something if you're listening to me, guys. Look more at baking a bigger cake. Don't worry about owning a small cake. It's not worthy of your effort. Unless you don't want to build something meaningful, you don't want to build something significant. If you already understand your assignment, you understand your work, you understand what you're called to do, then you must bake a bigger cake because that is what is going to position you. So let's talk about season 2 here, right? Let's wrap up season 2 because you must understand in this season of testing is not punishment. It is preparation for the weight that lies ahead for you. That is what testing is doing to you. And you cannot skip that level. Because what does James 1:3-4 says? This is another verse that I really like. It speaks a lot to me. It says, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete. Testing is not punishment, it is completion. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete. So that you may be fine-tuned. So that you might have gone through the furnace and come out on the other side like a diamond. Some of you are frustrated because nobody sees you. It seems like you are non-existent. You don't get applause. You don't get recognition. But preparation is not the season of applause yet. Preparation is the season of alignment. You are trying to connect yourself on the path of where you are destined to be. Or maybe you are already on that path, but you are trying to get your car engine ready to be able to go at that speed. It's like you are trying to drive a Lamborghini. You go out to the dealership, you buy a Lamborghini, and you don't even know how to drive at top speed. You are preparing yourself for a crash. You are going to die. There is no question about that. May his soul rest in peace. A few years ago, one of the top artists out of Cameroon, a young man called Fish, died. He died on the highway driving to the southwest from Douala for people who are from Cameroon. But what I read from the internet by credible reports is that he had just acquired his driver's license. He wasn't a very experienced driver yet, and he just bought a car and he took that car to the highway and started going at speeds that were beyond what he is capable of doing. Unfortunately, he crashed and died. That is how your destiny is too. May his soul rest in peace. He was a great guy. I still miss him because he was one of the best and most creative artists that have come out of Cameroon in the younger generation. But I am just saying your destiny is like that. You must prepare. You must go through this season of preparation and testing. And then you will be able now to go at the speed you want, right? Because preparation is not the season of preparation is not the season for applause. That's the season for alignment. Because this is where life really became real for me. My own season of testing. That is the season where I went through the most devastating times in my life. That's the season where I went through bankruptcy, paid over $100,000 to the bankruptcy court. That's the season where I lost 2 homes to foreclosure. That's the season right before then where I thought I'd already arrived. I was already building a few things. I was making things happen for my life. I just finished from the University of California in Berkeley, one of the top business schools in the world. I went back to Africa to do business. My dream was to build this massive distribution company along with my uncle who created the company and all those great things. You know what? Life told me, no, that's not really your work. You are trying to be in the season of emergence, but you haven't gone through the season of preparation and testing. I have to bring you back because if I don't prepare you, if I don't test you, if I don't make sure that you are capable, when the season of emergence will come, you will crash. At that time, I was frustrated. At that time, I was beaten. I was angry. I was pissed off with life, with everything. I came back to the US 3 years after my expedition to Africa, broke. I had $800 in my pocket. They held me at the airport. I had overstayed my green card. I had to pay a penalty of about $700 and something dollars. I was depressed. I felt for a moment that I was a failure. But I didn't, because I had started on the journey to understand what my work is, to understand what my assignment is. There was a part of me that knew that there is a reason for this process. There was a part of me that kept reminding me that, Gustav, this is not over. This is just part of the process. This is the season of testing. I didn't call it that way at that time, but now I understand that it was the season of testing. You know what? Because everything I thought I had built at that time collapsed. Life humbled me, and it humbled me publicly because he had to bring me back to a stage that I was wanting to jump over to move to the next stage. Think about Steve Jobs. If you know the legendary owner and founder of Apple, this guy is an incredible guy. His story always inspires me, like many other stories of Dangote and a lot of other businessmen. But let me talk about Steve Jobs for a minute. I watched a video on YouTube, and if you go to YouTube, you can search it, you'll see it. There's a gentleman who is a business owner. He actually owned a venture capital firm. Venture capital companies are companies that invest in other companies which are starting up, hoping to make profit when they grow. And he said one of the biggest regrets he has in his life, in fact, the biggest business mistake he ever made, is that in 1979 or so, he was told that there were some 2 young guys who wanted to talk to him. And his secretary told him that these guys look raggedy, but he should talk to them. And he accepted, and the 2 young men came into his office. He said he looked at them because he was a really rich guy. He had a venture capital firm. He was dressed in his suit, sitting behind his table, and he folded his arm, lifted his legs, and placed on his table like I'm doing right now, right? And he asked himself, he looked at the 2 young men that came into his office. They had jeans, their hair was raggedy. This is him describing them, that they look stinky. It's like they haven't taken a shower for 1 week. They smoked marijuana. And they came in and they were talking to him about an idea of a company that they have started. They're already building personal computers, and they needed somebody to buy 50% of that company for $50,000. Lo and behold, you know who those 2 guys were? It was Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs' partner, that both started Apple. Fast forward a few years from there, of course, Apple grew, right? Even in that process of growing, Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, a company he founded. He got fired from his own company by the board. But they brought him back many years after, and he's the one who took Apple to where Apple is today. Everybody who've come after Steve Jobs, of course, is benefiting from the work he did for Apple. But you know what? In that season that he got fired, that was his season of testing. That was the season of preparation, because because life realized that if they don't prepare him, he was not going to be able to deliver on the vision of what that company was capable of doing. Apple needed a different version of him in the future, not the same version that was fired. Because when he was fired, he was young, he was arrogant, he thought he knew it all, he wouldn't take ideas from other people, he didn't think other people were smart enough. But by the time he came back again, he was humble. He had recognized that the only way you build a significant company is building a best team around you. It's recognizing that anytime you are in a room as a leader and you are the smartest person in that room, you got to change rooms. If you are a leader and you want to grow in life, make sure you are always the dumbest person in a room. Because if you have smart people surrounding you, you are going to do exceedingly well. That is what smart leaders understand, right? So Apple needed a different version of him. So testing doesn't destroy you. If testing is the season in which you are right now, you are not being destroyed. You are being fine-tuned. It refines you. It gives you the ability to become a better version. So now, when we leave from the first season, which is the season of preparation, we come into the season of testing. Now you are coming into the third season of destiny. And this third season of destiny is the season of emergence. This is where visibility and influence becomes apparent to the world. This is when you walk in places, people know you and people say hello to you. This is when people want to take pictures with you. This is when people refer to you in their commentaries. This is when people want to buy your books. People want to subscribe to your programs. People want to be students of your vision and your philosophy. People want to be your mentees. This is the season of emergence. This is when the world now starts seeing results. But they never saw preparation. They never saw testing. People now start seeing your success. People start seeing your bigger platform. People start seeing your confidence rising. People start seeing your leadership skills, because as a leader, you are no leader if there are no followers. So people start seeing people following you because you've become a leader. Now people don't realize that in that season of emergence, people will see the glory, but nobody remembers the story. There is a great quote, I can't remember, by some great global leader. I think it's Winston Churchill or so. He said something about the man in the boxing ring, right? The man in the boxing ring. And he talked something about, you know what, guys, just give me a minute. Let me read out that quote to you. That quote is so powerful. It is important that you hear that quote. The man in the boxing ring quote. Just stay with me for a minute. I want to read out that quote to you. It's so powerful. And if you can find it and paste it in your room. That quote is by the great Theodore Roosevelt. He says this: the man in the arena, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled and failed. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face, give me a minute here. It didn't bring up the entire thing. Okay, good, okay. He says, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles and fails, or whether the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions that it takes, who spends himself in worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. Guys, whoa. Man, if you're just joining us, please Feel free to leave a comment here. Let me know that you are feeling it. Let me know that you are feeling this stream, right? Yes. Yes. Let me know that you are understanding exactly what I'm getting at here. Because you know what? In that season of emergence, even in that season, don't forget that in the previous season of testing, you were that guy who was in the arena. You were scared. People were laughing at you. People were insulting you. People were humiliating you. People who you used to help will be laughing and talking how you are finished, that you are a beggar now, that nothing is happening in your life, that you are a failure in this life. But because they don't understand the seasons of life, they think it's your over season. They don't know that it's your testing season. They don't know that it's the season that God is finally fine-tuning you to bring you to your season of emergence. So in season 3, that season of emergence, that's the season where visibility and influence comes into action. That is when the world now starts taking notice of you. And people are wondering, isn't it that Uncle Beno that I knew in Lagos? That guy who used to sell pomo and packaged water. That was the season of preparation. That was the season of strengthening. That is a season. Anytime you hear people talk about that, talk like that about somebody, understand that that person is slowly getting to a season of emergence. That's why they're going back. They're only trying to bring him back to his season of preparation. They're only trying to bring you back to your season of testing. They don't realize that you've gone through the process and now you are the season where the world is seeing the final version, the sweet version, the fine-tuned version, the glitching version, the version that is born to deliver like nobody else is born to deliver like that. That is the season. Season 3, your season of emergence. That is the season when your wealth is clamoring, when your platform is growing, when your confidence is rising, and when your leadership ability is taking another turn. You know what? They will never see the broken years. They will never see the humiliation you had to submit yourself to sometimes. They will never see the doubt. They don't know the night when you go to sleep and you don't know if this path you are following is the right path. I know it. I've been through it all. They don't know the private discipline, the things that you have to hold yourself from doing. They don't know all of that because the glory is loud. Preparation was silent. You know what? Influence amplifies your character. Wealth amplifies your identity. Visibility amplifies your weakness. A lot of people in this season of emergence, that is the season when you need to be more humble. That is the season when you don't look out to prove a point to nobody. A lot of people make the mistake because in that season of emergence, they want to go back to prove to the people who doubted them that I have arrived. It's like you are going to fight with a pig because the pig pick your clothes up. I know a story of a guy who went swimming in the river and he took out his clothes, folded them carefully, put them under a tree. And a madman came and picked his clothes and started running. The guy left the river and was chasing the madman. Who was the madman in that case? So in your season of emergence, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You don't have to explain. You just have to keep staying humble and keep working on whatever it is you're working. Because your season of emergence doesn't necessarily mean that trials and temptations are not going to come. They will still keep coming. But at that time, you are ready. At that time, you've been strengthened to a point where even if you fail again and you have to start all over, you will no longer be from starting from scratch. You'll be starting from experience. Because if testing didn't form you, emergence will expose you. I want you to understand me. If the season of preparation and testing did not form you structurally, psychologically, morally, spiritually, the season of emergence, which is season 3, is going to expose you. You know what? Today you might see the speaker. I'm here talking to you. You might see me, the investor, the wealth strategist, the legacy architect. But of course, you didn't see the confusion until I told you. You didn't see the rebuilding process multiple times until I told you. You didn't see the periods of doubt. You didn't see the periods when it was very justifiable for me to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I give up. I will just find something regular, bend my head, just work and die without chasing the things that were called upon in my life as my assignment. But I told you those things. All you're seeing now maybe is the fact that I am starting to emerge. I'm starting to become what I have worked for 17 years to become, which is the person who has earned the right to be able to influence your minds and give you knowledge, experience, information, and transformation. It took me 17 years to get to where I am today. It didn't happen overnight. If this is the first time you're seeing me, I'm not new to this. This is the first time you're coming in contact with my messages. I have been saying these things for years, but it was in the season of preparation. It was in the season of testing. It was in the season of fine tuning. And slowly but surely, I am slowly inching closer to the season of emergence. It is not that season yet. I'm still in the season of testing, but the season of emergence is close. I can feel it. I see it. I know that it is going to be close. It is going to happen because if you don't give up, it is going to be it's going to happen too for you. You must understand something. During those nights of doubt, what do you tell yourself? During those nights of confusion, during those days when you are faced with a tough message coming from the people who love you, telling you that what you are trying to do is madness, that you are wasting your time, what do you do with that? You know what? Package it. Don't get angry. Don't hate nobody. Don't be frustrated. Package all of that and understand and put it in the basket in the season of testing. Because the only way you will get tested by the people who are closest to you. You will get tested by the people who you expect that they should believe in you the most. Because in the season of testing, that is the preparation, that is the ability. Let me tell you something, guys. Whew. Whoa. Let me tell you something. My greatest hero in my life is my father. And you know, there is something. A lot of times, I tell a lot of my friends, I was chatting with one of my friends today. We've been friends for over 30 years. And I told him something. I said, let me tell you something, boy. As a man, you have to understand something, especially as a man, a husband, and a father. You have to understand these things. Your job is a thankless job. Okay? Don't expect that somebody will come and tell you thank you. It doesn't really happen. Number two, your children only understand your role later in their lives. That is why if you attend birthdays of men in their 70s, maybe people are celebrating their fathers or things like that, you always hear the children say this thing in different ways, but they always say it. I've been an MC for 16 years. I've MC'd more than 500 events, so I know what I'm talking about. The children will always say something in this format. You know what, Daddy? I used to think you were too hard on me. You didn't love me. You were wicked. Now I understand. You know why? Because in that season, it was the season of preparation for them, but they could not understand that you are preparing them. And now, when they are in the season of emergence, they are now medical doctors, they are engineers, they are nurse practitioners, they are entrepreneurs, they own their own businesses, they are married, they are doing well with their families. Then they realize that the reason why they are able to perform at the level at which they are performing is because from a young age, somebody put discipline in them. Somebody put structure in them. Somebody forced them to be submissive to instructions at the times in their life when you don't know better, right? So my greatest hero in my life is my father. I learned a lot from him because I saw my father in seasons in his life when he was at the top, when he was operating with presidents and ambassadors and ministers and princes and princesses and kings and queens. I saw when he dropped from that level and the same people he helped humiliated him. I saw God bring him back to emergence. And in all of that process, for 1 minute, he never changed. He never became wicked. He never became angry. He never became envious of anybody. He was as simple as the simplest person you could ever meet in your life. I learned something. I asked him one day, I said, how do you do this? I say, how do you do this? There are people who are close to you, who you've helped them, who you took them from the gutter, made them something of their life, and they will go behind and write letters to destroy you, do things to try to hurt you. How do you forgive these people? He looked at me and he said, my son, when you carry the burden, it's on you. You know why? because I cannot control what they do. I can only control how I react to what they do. And I've chosen to never give them the power to change who I am. I hope somebody is feeling me today. When I speak from my heart. I have no notes. I don't write things down. I just talk. If you are in your season of emergence today, understand that one of the power of the season of emergence is the ability to not become who you are not. I learned from my own father that humility is a virtue. I learned that in this life, it doesn't matter what stage you are in your life. Today, you could be at the top. Tomorrow, you could be at the bottom. There are things you can control. There are things you cannot control. But the only thing you truly have control over is the way you carry yourself and how you treat other human beings. So I want to remind you, I don't know what stage you are in your life today. I want you to put it down in the comment. Tell me what stage you are, what season you are in your life. Are you in the season of discovery? Do you think you are in the season of testing? Or do you think you are in the season of emergence? I want you to put that down in the comment section, right? Stop comparing your preparation to someone else's emergence. You might be in your season of testing today. Somebody else might be in their season of emergence. Stop comparing yourself with them. It's their journey, it's their season. You know what? Life is a class, life is an exam that everybody has a different exam question. So if you're copying from your friend, you are answering a question that wasn't asked of you. Stop envying visibility if you are not there yet. When you're still building your capacity, stop worrying. On the contrary, if you see people who are in the season ahead of you, don't envy them. Go to them, humble yourself, offer to serve them, learn, carry their backs, let them mentor you. Because for every great master, there was a time that great master was a great student. For every great master, there was a time that great master was a great student. Are you trying to be a student of life? Are you trying to be a student of the seasons? I have lived all 3 seasons. I am just getting into the 3rd season, which is the season of emergence. I am just getting close to that gate. I've gone through the season of preparation when I didn't know who I was. It took me a while to uncover who I was. I've gone through the season of testing when life broke me down. Everything I thought I had built, I got humiliated multiple times in public. I got shattered, filed for bankruptcy. I went through that season of testing. And now I'm slowly coming close to my season of emergence. But you know what? I respect you and I respect any season you are in with your life. Because you know what? Every season is what contributes to bring me here. And that's what is going to contribute to bring you to where you're aspiring to go with your life. That is why you cannot underestimate any of those seasons. Because every season has dignity. Every season has pride to it. Every season has a role to play. Preparation builds clarity. Their testing season builds capacity, endurance, and resilience. Your emergence season builds a legacy. So if you mismanage your preparation season, your testing season becomes longer and more painful. If you resist your testing season, your emergence delays. But if you embrace each season, you hold it close, your legacy becomes inevitable. For all the great people you see in your life, for all the people who you admire and you look up to, if you ask them, they will tell you about their seasons. They'll tell you about those different seasons. And those different seasons usually come in that synchronized order. It will start with preparation, it will go to testing, and then you finally emerge. You must respect your season to build your legacy. Some of you are frustrated today. I understand. You've been fired from your job. Maybe you're separating from your spouse. Life is tough. You are getting confused. You don't know what is going to happen. Let me remind you, you are not frustrated because God forgot you. No. Not because you lack potential. Not because the system is against you. You are simply, most likely, in your preparation season or in your testing season. And preparation feels invisible because it's a season where nobody notices you. It's a season where nobody cares, where you believe that people should be noticing you. They don't notice. Nobody even thinks about you. It takes a certain amount of humility to recognize that season and stay humble, stay patient. Because some of you are now in your testing season, and testing feels unfair. But you know what? Testing is building the version of you that can carry what you have been praying for. I want you to understand me. The testing season is building that version of you that is going to carry what you've been praying for. And some of you are just entering your emergence season. Be careful, because emergence without formation, humility becomes destruction. Emergence is when you kick that ego out. Because Les Brown says ego stands for edging God out. That is when you kick pride out. That is when you make sure you find a way to be more humble. Because in that season of emergence, I want you to listen and listen to me carefully. Do not curse the season you are in. That is building your capacity. Do not envy someone else's visibility when you haven't seen their private battles. Preparation builds clarity. Testing builds your capacity. Emergence builds your legacy. And legacy is not built in public. It is built in seasons. No one applauds you. It is built in those seasons. No one notices you. In those seasons where your tears will be swallowed. In those seasons where you will doubt even your own shadow. In those days when you will doubt if you were called to suffer only. That is when you build legacies. So respect your season. Master your season. And when your emergence comes, you will not just succeed, you will sustain. You'll be able to hold it for a period of time. You'll be able to hold it for a long period. Yes, Yinko's Pepe Talks. My season of testing has brought me to this point in my life, and I'm grateful to God for it. God prepared me for now. I am discovering my purpose. Without the testing, I know I wouldn't be here. Yes, yes, Pepe. That's what Yinko's Pepe Talks. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. You're discovering who you are. You are in a purpose. You are running my race and learning as you go along. That is good. I appreciate you for joining the live call. It's an appreciation. Thank you for coming. Philip Akem, yes, sir. Glad to have you, Uncle Benno. We're glad to have each and every one of the call. And please, by any chance, if you're just joining me for the first time, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. And by the way, tomorrow, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm not going to do a live stream. I actually have a free masterclass. And in that masterclass, I'll be actually working on something very, very powerful for you. It's a masterclass that is going to be helping high earning individuals who make a lot good money but feel behind on their destiny, feel behind on their pocketbooks. They are confused. They don't know how to invest their money. They don't know how to multiply that. Join me on that masterclass. It's free. I will leave the link down in this video. If you look at previous videos in my profile, you will see the link. Register for that masterclass. We have very limited seats. So if you want to join us in that masterclass, make sure you hop onto that masterclass. All right. I am glad each and every one of you were able to join me tonight. I am glad. I hope you found something valuable in the things I teach. I want to remind you very, very strongly that in this life, tears will bring you sympathy, but only sweat will bring you results. Until the next live stream, if I don't see you tomorrow in the masterclass, which I hope to see you, I will see you on the next live stream on Friday. I do this every day, Mondays through Fridays, from 7:30 p.m. till about 8:30, 8:45, right? And if you look in my website, gustavachu.com, you'll be able to find a lot of my merchandise. You'll see beautiful t-shirts like this one. You are enough. You can order them. You'll see beautiful caps like this. You can order them. Join my community so you can get along. In my community, we welcome everybody, especially people who are trying to build some meaning with their life, people who are trying to learn how to invest in assets, who are trying to own things, because we are in the era of ownership. In this era, if you are not owning assets, you are preparing to disappear. The rich people, the successful people are those who build wealth in their sleep. And you only build wealth in your sleep when you own assets that are working for you while you are sleeping. All of those things I'll be teaching you in the free masterclass tomorrow. Join that masterclass and I'll see you on the inside. And until the next time, be well, be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing to somebody. I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye for now.